Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. On today's show is 41-year-old Tom Brady, the NFL's best quarterback. Plus, DeAngelo Hall joins the show and fires back at DeAndre Hopkins after the Texans wideout had some choice words. And will LeBron and the Lakers get a lump of coal for Christmas? Courtesy of the Warriors. Skip and Shannon, let's get to it.
Pro Football Focus came out with their quarterback rankings heading into the season, and they put Tom Brady number 1 and Aaron Rodgers number 2. Rob Parker's excited about this. Okay, so Brady was the top-graded quarterback for the second consecutive year last season at age 40. Pro Football Focus credited his accuracy for keeping him in the top spot heading into this season. Rodgers' rating took a hit last year after breaking his collarbone, but the analysts called him, quote, as good as it gets making big-time throws. We're joined by Rob Parker, who is already saying that this is his favorite topic. So how do you describe Aaron Rodgers coming in at number 2?
Is this survey, is this football unfocused or what is this?
Yeah.
Skip, know.
That was clever.
You like that?
You win.
Unfocused.
It's over.
Should
Jenny,
we walk out?
next question.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Here we go again. This is always the Tom Brady Lifetime Achievement Award. That's what there's no way you can look at these two quarterbacks seriously. The only way he would be ahead of Aaron Rodgers if Aaron had a broken collarbone. That's the only way Tom Brady would be ahead.
He's had a bunch of broken collarbones.
That's all right, but what happens when he comes back from collarbone? He's won MVP. So when I look at this, I just can't explain it. I know Tom Brady won the MVP by default, right? Because Carson Wentz got hurt.
You're saying, what did he win? The MVP?
Yeah,
like you forgot.
I forgot because it was
what's
by
it called?
default.
What
is that?
By default.
It was by
vulnerable
default.
player? No, it's the most valuable player. Okay.
That's the only way you could. And Aaron Rodgers. And the other one is just go look at, if you had a GM right now in the NFL, Shannon, you were a GM, and I said you could pick Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, not now, but any time during their careers. From the beginning, before you knew Tom Brady was going to be Tom Brady, any time you would take Aaron Rodgers.
It wouldn't even be close. Everybody would take Tom Brady.
No, they would not.
Everybody. Go ahead.
Because Tom Brady, as you know, is one of the luckiest quarterback players of all time.
Fourth quarter, just lucky,
things just
lucky,
always
lucky.
happen. But always when I think of Tom Brady, and I don't know how they don't take away points, Tom Brady has fumbled in some of the biggest moments in big games.
Really?
We saw he lost the Super Bowl this year. Do you remember with 2 minutes to go? Remember that? He lost the Super Bowl for the
turnover.
Give me
another one.
Another one.
Yeah.
And then against the Raiders, he fumbled the football. The Raiders should have won the game.
If theirs was a catch, that was a fumble.
Yes.
So which is it?
Which one?
Which one you want?
That was not a fumble?
I told you it was a fumble. I covered the game. I wrote it immediately that the Raiders got robbed.
They got jobbed in that game.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So we got to take a Super Bowl away from him.
Right. And then when you look at Aaron Rodgers, he has two things. The NFL record for quarterback passer rating in the history of the game of all the quarterbacks who ever played, including Tom Brady.
History.
And he also has the best passer rating for a single season, which was 122.5. Again, the greatest of anybody who's ever thrown the football.
How many Super Bowls do you have?
He's batting 1,000 in Super Bowls. He hasn't lost to Eli twice like Tom Brady
He's only been
has.
in one Super Bowl?
Yeah, that's, you know
Brady's
what?
been in 8.
But see, there again, that's an achievement. See, we're talking about, if we're just looking at completion percentage, yards per attempt, passer rating, touchdown to interception ratio.
Which he blows the competition.
Rodgers. You go and see, that's the only argument. He got 5. But hold on, I thought we weren't basing it on that. I thought we were basing it on throws and percentages. You look at Tom Brady, and this is not to minimize him because he's all-time great.
He's a great player.
He's a transcendent player. But Aaron Rodgers can do things that Tom Brady just can't do, Skip. He can't.
Do you remember the throw against the Cowboys and Cook? Brady
I could have made it. I could have made it.
No, you couldn't have made it.
I also could have caught it. I could have made it and caught it.
You could have thrown it and ran down and caught it?
I could have run that and caught it.
Does it all.
It was uncovered. It was completely uncovered. It was a complete breakdown against a prevent defense. I don't know what my coordinator was doing. He should have been fired on the spot, but he wasn't.
No,
He's still the coordinator.
If you put them on the same plane, you says, okay, you have to throw the ball from the pocket. Maybe they can make all the same throws. But when you move them outside of the pocket and you ask him to roll to his left and roll to his right, and throw with the same proficiency as if he's throwing from the pocket. And you ask him to change planes and arm angles. Skip, nobody can do it like him. And the legs. So when you combine all those things, Elway legs, Montana's touch, Breeze accuracy, that's Dan Marino's ability to just throw the ball purely from the pocket. Skip, come on, man. Stop playing with me.
I'll give you this. Aaron Rodgers can change planes at O'Hare or
somewhere.
I don't know. One of those, but he can't change planes like this guy can from the pocket. So, this topic is beginning to bore me because just one time I'm waiting for that day when both of you or one of you come in and sit down and you finally just give it up and say, you know what? You were right all along, because I have been righter and righter all along.
Is that a word?
I'll just do, he's been wronger and wronger.
You've been more wrong.
Yeah. I'll just go last 2 years to start with. The most accurate thrower of the football, statistically, over the last 2 football seasons, National Football League, not the Canadian Football League, the National Football League, was Tom Brady. What is the number one attribute for playing quarterback at the highest level? It is accuracy. This guy is the most accurate. Tom Brady has just played his 2 greatest seasons at age 39 and 40. So somehow, the deeper he gets into his career, just shattering the mold of longevity, he's getting even better. So his 2 greatest years come the last 2 years, and obviously he did. As Rob just swept it under the carpet, he won the regular season MVP last year. Then if I can just go back the last 4 Super Bowls, so just the last 4 years, Tom Brady took below average teams. He carried below average teams to 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls. Nobody even puts that into perspective.
How many NFC championship games did Aaron Rodgers take with a terrible defense?
I think it's still my turn.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You guys talked about nothing. It's okay. So 3 of the last Super Bowls. Let's go back 4 Super Bowls ago to the Seattle Super Bowl. It's the Legion of Boom in the fourth quarter. And what did my eyes tell me? My eye test, as I sat and watched my television in New York City at that point, I'm saying that's the greatest fourth quarter any quarterback has ever played in any Super Bowl I've ever seen. He shredded the Legion of Boom defense.
That's not what I said that night. I said Pete Carroll just blew a Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
That's what I
shredded
thought
it. He brought them back from the brink of disaster. They looked hopelessly down, and all of a sudden, he pulled it off. I don't know how he did it. And then he topped that with the greatest fourth quarter and overtime against Atlanta. Oh, they blew it. They did all this.
They choked.
But he did it. He did it. He threw for 246 yards just in the fourth quarter and overtime. It's unheard of. It's off the charts. It's way beyond anything Aaron Rodgers could even comprehend.
Skip, it shouldn't count because Arthur Blank was playing DB in the second half.
Rob, if you don't mind me asking, can you, because Skip wouldn't answer me.
Okay, let's hear
In the last 2, not this one, in the previous fourth quarters against Seattle, Atlanta, and in overtime, how many points did the Falcons and the Seahawks score?
None, because there's this thing in football called time of possession. You have to have the ball to score, and it was being controlled by the greatest quarterback who ever lived.
What happened in the fourth quarter when Philly scored? What happened, Skip? Because going into the fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken, Tom Brady had
I'm glad you brought that up. Tom Brady last year merely threw for 505 yards against a top 5 defense in Philadelphia. That's a playoff record, not a Super Bowl record. That's an all-time playoff record. And he scored a Super Bowl losing team record, 33 points he scored against that defense.
Did he leave any points on the field?
If I told you before the game that Tom Brady would put up 33 on Philly, what would you tell me? The Eagles are done, right?
Rob, now he makes my point. That's why Aaron Rodgers is the best. He scored 33 points, 500 yards,
so bad.
But his defense didn't show up.
Aaron Rodgers' defense never shows up.
Aaron Rodgers, I misspoke, Skip, in the previous first time. I said he had 1 top 10. I apologize, Aaron. I apologize, Packers. He's had 2 top 10 scoring defenses.
Okay.
Tom Brady in 17 years has had 14. 14 top 10 scoring defenses.
So let's just put this into some bigger picture perspective about Aaron Rodgers. He took his team to 1 Super Bowl 8 years ago, and since then, in the postseason, he's 5-6. He's lost 2 games at home in the 6, but the 5 came courtesy of Joe Webb, Kirk Cousins, the Boat Trip Giants, the Des Bryant robbery at Lambeau. Wait a second, and then How about Mason Crossbar hitting a 56-yarder and a 51? You want to talk about luck? Because both look like they were missing right and missing left, and the hand of God pushed them back over the crossbar.
What about Tom Brady having the greatest clutch kicker and the greatest head coach on his sideline?
Yeah. Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl.
Wait, the greatest head coach?
After he fumbled the ball and threw one touchdown the whole postseason.
Hold on. Wait a second. The greatest head coach gave up 41 to the Eagles' backup quarterback? Are you kidding me? Whoa. He's disqualified. It's over. It's defunct.
Hold on. But
wait, he sat Malcolm Butler the whole game for no reason?
No, he was in on one kickoff, wasn't he?
Hold on. But Rob, hold on. Is this the same head coach that held the greatest show on turf with 3 Hall of Famers on the offensive side of football to 17 points?
I think that was the last time we saw his greatness.
Whoa!
Yeah. Oh, I remember that Super Bowl.
Oh, so what about that
last time? So obviously there's this ability called durability. Do you realize Tom Brady has not missed a game in 10 years due to injury?
Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a witch doctor like Tom Brady.
Oh, witch doctor. So 2013, fractured clavicle, collarbone. Okay. And then last year, it broke again. Is he turning into Tony Romo? Is it going to go again? Is it made of cotton now? I don't know.
But I love how you see. But see, Rob, you got to catch him now. I've been watching because he's slick now.
He's slick.
Ooh, but you can't be slick to a can of oil.
That's
me over here. So I'm slicker. He's slick, but I'm
Invincible.
slicker. He went back 2 years. You look at 2 years, Tom Brady is more accurate than Aaron Rodgers. Go back 10 years. Since Aaron Rodgers has been a starter, and look at completion percentage. Look at yards per attempt.
Who do you want right now?
Aaron Rodgers.
Tom Brady.
Aaron Rodgers.
And then there's this thing that just escapes you guys because it's just too big picture for you. It's called leadership. This is one of the all-time great leaders in the history of sports, Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers, not so much. He can be a finger-pointing, blame-deflecting diva, as we saw again yesterday. And I'm not going to call for the tape this time. I'm just going to tell you that he called out once again all his young receivers and said that the routes they were running were piss poor.
It was.
Do you remember Brady and Josh McDaniels on the sideline?
Yeah, and Bill O'Brien.
This past year. Brady does it too. He's embarrassed people on the sideline.
Wait, hold on just a second. His coordinator attempted to shame and embarrass him by walking out on the field going, "What are you doing?" He went Aaron Rodgers on Tom Brady, and Tom Brady said,
"What are you doing?
No.
What are you doing?"
No.
He wanted to know what he was doing.
No, he just shut him up.
No, what
put
are you
him
doing?
right back in his place.
And Bill O'Brien said,
and Josh McDaniels is lucky to have a job, and now he could be the new head coach of the Patriots because of Tom Brady.
And Bill O'Brien told him to sit his $5 butt down before he make change.
Because some receiver who lasted 8 games in New England ran the wrong route in the back of the end zone.
Why are you minimizing Taekwon?
Oh, please.
You know what,
Taekwon Underwood, is that all you got?
I didn't even mention that Tom throws a fraudulent football or the defensive signals that he has.
Oh.
Didn't even mention it.
We'll leave it there. Though, I mean, honestly, we have to wait till week 9 for this. That's the worst part about it because they'll face each other in New England. So there you go.
Watch Aaron Rodgers. We want to put something on that right
Let's
now?
put something on that skip
Oh,
right now.
seriously?
Yeah. Okay.
No, I mean just straight up.
Straight up.
Oh,
No,
it's
I'm
over.
getting points.
Thank
I'm
you.
getting points.
I don't need
No, you
points.
get no
Yeah.
points. You just said you started it.
I said
He did start
You started it.
I said,
if you started, there are no points.
I said, do you want to put something on it?
Yes, straight up.
No,
yes.
no.
I got New England.
No.
I got Tom Brady. Who you got? Aaron Rodgers?
I got Aaron Rodgers.
He's much better than Tom Brady. That's what you've been telling me. So you got it straight up? Thank you. You know?
I'm getting the points.
This is a busy day. A lot of bets. Rob, thank you for joining us.
No mercy.
Support for Undisputed comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans, America's premier home purchase lender. Let's talk about buying a home. It can be one of the most important purchases you'll ever make. But today's fluctuating interest rates can leave you with unexpected higher payments, which can turn a great experience into an anxious one. That's why Quicken Loans created their exclusive power buying process. Here's how it works. They check your income, assets, and credit to give you a verified approval. This gives you the strength of a cash buyer, making your offer more attractive to sellers. Once verified, you qualify for their exclusive Rate Shield approval. They'll lock your interest rate for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. Then, once you've found the one, if rates have gone up, your rate stays the same. But if rates have gone down, you get to keep that new lower rate. Either way, you win. It's the kind of thinking you'd expect from America's largest mortgage lender. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/undisputed. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year purchase transactions. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply. Based on Quicken Loans data in comparison to public data records. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
No mercy.
Yesterday on our show, DeAngelo Hall said that Odell is better than DeAndre Hopkins and Mike Evans and should be the highest paid receiver. Hopkins responded to that by tweeting, "Stop speaking on my name with the nonsense. Odell is my boy, no disrespect." Good thing we have DeAngelo here with us now. And this is the perfect place for a response. So what do you got?
I'm here. I mean, if you ask 100 DBs in the National Football League, who would they rather cover? Odell Beckham or DeAndre Hopkins? They're not going to pick Odell Beckham because he's so scary. It's certain things he does with the ball in his hands after catch. It's his footwork. He was a soccer player growing up. I heard he was on the U.S. national team and decided to stick with football instead of play soccer. His footwork is impeccable at the line of scrimmage. So hard to get your hands on him. And so, absolutely, I think he's a better receiver. It's no knock against DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah. I think, the feud between me and DeAndre, goes back a couple years to a training camp incident on Hard Knocks. And, we got into a little scuffle. Me taking up for one of my teammates. DeAndre had him at the line of scrimmage, kind of hit him a couple times. And I'm like, hey, man, bro, that ain't what we here for. We here to get better. If you want to do that, we can do that. And, he has the famous line, "I fear no man but God." And, great line. Later in the training camp practice.
How did that end, by the way?
I mean, that ended. We all, kind of broke punches. Up. No punches thrown there. And, later in the training camp practice, we're together for team drills. And, he runs a double move, which is double move comeback. So he stuttered midway through his route. I'm like, oh, he ain't going vertical. So I sit on it, and I go to plant, and I just, slip out my cleat a little bit, twist my ankle. And I don't see this there. Because if I would have saw this there on the field, who knows what would have happened. But so I see it later on as it's airing on TV or someone else tells me about it, and it becomes this huge social media kind of meme takeover that he shook me out my cleat. And I'm like, first of all, you can't shake nobody running in a straight line. Like, you got to give me something.
Right.
But if anybody who's played the position understands when you see that receiver start stuttering at 2-3 yards, he's just stuttering to come back. And I jumped out my shoes. I wish I had the clip. Literally jumped out my shoes. I was trying to break on that ball so fast and aggressively, and I just slipped. And so, I haven't commented on that because, football players, you're going to make a play, you're going to give up a play. Oh, well. And so I've kind of let that kind of live, but I felt like, man, I needed to talk about that because
you just did.
If that's the reason he feels as though I need to keep his name out of my mouth, then, I mean, he's silly. He is absolutely silly. He needs to sit down and be real with himself. Like I said, he's a great receiver. I'm not taking anything from him. He is a top 5 receiver in this league. He's shown that. And so I don't take anything away from his playmaking ability. But if I'm a DB, and you can ask a lot of other DBs who would they rather cover or who's an easier cover, and not saying that easy cover means, I'm going to kill him every time. It just means, look, this dude is a little more explosive, a little more shifty, makes a little, bigger plays. And so that's the guy,
But in DeAndre's next sentence in the tweet, then he's paying respect.
Yeah, no respect. No disrespect, OBJ.
Like I think he's saying the same thing.
I'm better than you, but
no.
But no disrespect. I'm not really saying I'm better than you.
That's exactly how that came across.
Tell him you're better than him.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, tell him. Don't tell me.
Okay. Done.
He got you caught in the middle of that. He got you. All you in the middle of that.
I'm glad that it was nice to get the response.
That was a good, solid response.
No problem.
And we're going to switch gears a bit because Deshaun Watson looked like a superstar last year before tearing his ACL in practice. Despite his great numbers, Pro Football Focus ranked him as the 20th best quarterback in the NFL. They say his struggles with turnovers and accuracy led to the low grade. 3 spots ahead of Watson is former MVP Cam Newton. Pro Football Focus says that other than his MVP season, Cam has been a mostly average quarterback. DeAngelo, do you agree with these rankings?
I don't agree with them. I don't agree with neither one of these two guys being as low as they are. They say Cam has been a somewhat average quarterback. Would you say the Carolina Panthers have been average or have they been pretty competitive? I think they've been pretty competitive as a whole.
Yep.
I think when you talk about Cam Newton, it's the other things that you that are the intangibles that you don't see necessarily throwing the football that makes him a good quarterback. It's his ability to extend some of those plays. It's his ability to stand tall in the pocket as it's collapsing. It's his ability to make runs, make something out of nothing, to use him in the goal line situation when he's running some of that read option stuff to punch the ball across the goal line to score. And so, for me personally, when I see Cam, I see so many similarities in Michael Vick. And nobody, back in the day, Mike wasn't the guy who was going to beat you throwing the ball for 400 yards. It was a combination of some runs, combination of some, of some deep balls or some good. Yeah, Mike's arm probably, was better than Cam's. But as a whole, it was those other things that they were able to do that kept defenses up at night. You ask any rush in, like, man, who would you rather rush against? A guy like Tom Brady or a guy like Cam Newton? They're going to want Tom Brady because they know he's going to stand in that pocket where Cam kind of can throw you off.
Although Tom Brady's going to get rid of it.
Yeah, he's going to try to get rid of it. Yep. And, with Deshaun's a guy who, I would have liked to see a lot more from him, but he got hurt. But if you can put Jimmy Garoppolo at 11 and having only saw him for a short period of time, I think you absolutely have to put Deshaun Watson in that same category. He's a guy who showed me a lot, and I'm looking forward to that offense. I'm looking
before
forward
Shannon
to
goes, I'm going to
seeing
put you
what
on
they
the
can
spot.
do.
If you had to pick one of these two right now, you would take?
Right now, today, I'd probably take Deshaun Watson just because he's younger.
Okay.
Right now, if I'm trying to play, if I'm playing one game, I'm taking Cam. If I'm starting a team, an organization, and I need a quarterback for the next 10 to 15 years, I'm taking Deshaun Watson just because he's younger.
I think Cam is too low. And I agree with you with what you're saying about how is Jimmy Garoppolo 11 with 7 starts, Skip? And people keep like, well, Deshaun had 6 starts, Skip. And in 6 starts, and do like, well, did you see what he did against the Legion of Boom? Did you see what he did against Tom Brady? Although he lost, he played. Do you remember what Cam did in his first 2 games, Skip?
I do.
Over 400 yards. First time it's ever been done. No other rookie quarterback has ever done it. His first 2 starts, throw the ball for over 400 yards.
But by the way, the rest of that year, he didn't even come close to that.
I don't even know if he's ever had another 400 yards. He might have one other 400-yard game since then.
Which is why it was he almost did himself in. He set his bar way
so high
too high
that he was never going to be able to get back to that point. But Cam was an MVP. 35 touchdowns passing, another 10 rushing. And if you want Cam is never going to be conventional like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees. That's not what he is, Skip. He's going to be somewhere probably on a good year for Cam, is going to be somewhere between 22 and 30 touchdowns. But he's going to hurt you with his ability to extend the plays and get out of harm's way with his leg. Now, I believe Norv Turner, the new offensive coordinator, will force Cam to get the ball out of his hands a lot quicker and let some of his weapons do some of the leg work for him. I get it, Deshaun Watson, but you look at the playmakers that he have, DeAndre Hopkins, Fuller the Fourth, Braxton Miller, Fedorowicz.
Although after DeAndre, it fell way off in catches. Like it's just him or bust, really. The other guys are just kind of along for the ride.
Fuller was having a great season, and he got nicked because he had that huge game. But for me, I think Cam is undervalued. For me, it's hard to rank a guy with 6 starts. Just like I can't people got, Garoppolo 7. Whoa. Dude, can we get a larger sample size? Can we get a bigger body of work, Skip? I can't tell, a cup of water is the Pacific Ocean, but that's what they're doing with these guys. They take 6 games, 7 games. Woo, man, you see that dude? Dude, it used to be the guy had to play like 2 or 3 years. D Hall before we got a resume out on the guy. Now he played good for 2 or 3 games. Oh, that's it. Oh, he gonna be the next Tom Brady. Come on, guys.
Speaking of Brady, you always say this when we do Brady versus Aaron Rodgers, who's better. You always say, I'm not trying to knock Tom Brady. You say he's all-time great.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to knock Cam Newton because I've always said I really like him as a quarterback. But I love Deshaun Watson as a quarterback. And I'm going on early eye test. And I'm going to throw in 2 national championship games. And it was college football, but it was against the best defense in college football. And he lit them up twice. And he barely lost the first one to Deshaun Watson and Clemson to St. Nick's defense. And then he beat him with a walk-off throw the second time. And I was convinced because I'm talking about poise and playmaking at the highest level. And I know this is a small sample size, but he just lit up these. He went to Cincinnati and New England, and then Tennessee and the Chiefs at home, and then go to Seattle. And I don't have time to read all the numbers, but they're off the charts numbers. They're staggering. Against the Chiefs, 5 touchdowns and no interceptions, a QBR of 95 on a scale of 0 to 100. And against Tom Brady, he goes 22 of 33. That's 67% for 301 yards. It's special stuff. So I'm going eye test. I'm going gut feeling. I'm going accuracy, number one. He's a little more accurate than Cam has ever been because Cam's a 59% career passer. So we have a big body of work on Cam. We have a small one here, but I think it will continue to be a little higher on the completion percentage. Then I'm looking at just how careful he is with the football. He's a little more Cam will try things that Deshaun won't try. He has a little more poise and presence in the pocket than Cam does. He has a better feel for the position overall than Cam does because Cam is going to look to hurt you with his legs and his physique because he's going to impose his will on you. So over time, Deshaun can hurt you occasionally with his legs because every time he took off, he averaged 7.5 yards a rush. So he's not stuck in the pocket. He still has some quickness to him.
But Skip, can I say this? Can I say that it's safe to say Deshaun has not seen a lot of different defenses in the National Football League?
You got it. What is it?
Is it safe to say that Jimmy G has not seen a lot of different defenses?
No.
So it could come a point in these guys' career where they're facing coordinators or defenses that just give them problems. They might just, I can't see that trap corner coming.
We'll find out.
Gosh, I can't see it. And that's what I'm saying. With Cam, I know he's seen everything.
Okay.
Maybe one wrinkle here or there that somebody tries to recreate something, but for the most part, he's seen everything. That's what I don't think people really understand. When these teams get to scheming you, and it's a week-to-week change of what the defense is because we're trying to take away what you do great.
You could be
it's
right.
going to be a different ball game.
Right.
And so, like I said, when I see Deshaun Watson more, I can make that argument too. And I love this kid. I love Deshaun. I've known him since he was in high school. We went to the same church. I followed him for the longest time. We stay in touch. So I'm rooting for him. I'm trying not to be biased in my opinion of him. And so that's why I just want to see a little bit more. But I think he can be special.
The final case I'm going to make, again, it's very early. I see and feel higher leadership intangibles in Deshaun than in Cam.
You're right.
Cam can occasionally go a little LeBron and kind of separate himself from the team when he's down on how other players are playing. He might put a towel over his head and just say, I just can't stand to watch this right now. Deshaun's got that presence about him where people are going to follow him and stay with him.
He has that Russell Wilson quality where even though he's a superstar, he doesn't feel as though he's a superstar. He's relatable. He seems like he's a guy who will talk to anybody in that locker room where Cam kind of does feel as though
he the defense in Seattle, they say, nah, Russell not relatable. But here's the thing,
That is true.
In his last 5 games, Deshaun Watson had 8 interceptions. He only started 6. In his last 2 years at Clemson, 30 interceptions. Now, so he's not as careful as one might think he is with the football. Remember his last year, Skip, he turned the ball over a lot. He had a
I just thought he was bored. I thought he was just waiting for St. Nick one more time. And when he got him, he got him.
Well, you know who did, well, you know what Coach Saban said about Cam. That's the best thing he ever seen. Yeah. He went to Tuscaloosa and did old St. Nick like that.
He did him.
Angela, thank you for being here. No mercy. Well, last night, the Browns' season of Hard Knocks debuted. Cleveland was winless last year, but made a lot of changes to the roster this offseason, including trading for wide receiver Jarvis Landry. He stole the show in this episode by calling out his fellow receivers for not practicing with minor injuries. Let's take a listen.
If you can practice, practice. You can't get no better. Ain't nobody gonna get better by being on the sideline if you ain't hurt. If you're not hurt, you gotta practice. Because you make other work even harder. Now they had risk of getting hurt because you don't want practice. Because you being a all that weak don't live here no more. That don't exist. It's contagious, bro.
Had to use your imagination for that. All right, you can catch Hard Knocks streaming now on HBO Go. But Skip, I want your opinion on this first. When you listen to that from Jarvis Landry, did you like it?
I loved it. I was riveted by it because I was so stunned by it. I did not see it coming because Jarvis had been seen on the Hard Knocks camera several times on the practice field, and he did not come across like this at all. I will remind you, the Browns receivers coach, Adam Henry, coached both Jarvis and Odell at LSU. So there's a closeness there. So he was able to look sideways at that coach, closeness that he has to him, and say, let me say something real quick. That's how it started. It was not real quick. And he had clearly thought through what his speech was going to be. Now, was he playing to the camera that's mounted up on the wall, that's videotaping everything they're doing in that meeting? Maybe a little bit. But was it effective? Did it drive home the point that we, as the new Cleveland Browns, cannot keep acting the same ways we acted through 1-31 over the last 2 years? Yes, it was effective. And as you heard, he's saying, unless your hamstring is torn off the bone, unless your leg is broke, you're going to practice, because I'm hurt, I'm beat up, and I'm tired just like all the rest of you are. You've been there before. You know exactly what he's saying.
First week is tough.
It's dog days, man. It's hot and it's drippy and you get sore quickly because you're not doing football stuff in the off season, and all of a sudden you wake up in the morning, you don't want to get out of those ugly beds you're in, those little cot beds that you're in, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah. And so he's saying, I'm going to practice. And there are a bunch of you, I don't know exactly who he's calling out, but he's looking around the room because he is preaching to this room. You're going to practice, you're going to practice, you're going to practice. And in the end, he's saying that you know what is weakness, that you know what is contagious, because it is contagious. And he concludes that all that weak you know what don't live here no more. Well, that's the way you have to attack a loser's culture. That's how you have to change it with speeches. Profanity-laced tirades like that is the best thing, the best way to attack that group that will be contagious to other groups on the team. So does he have some cachet? Again, let's frame this. Was he Shannon Sharpe leaving the Denver locker room and going into the Baltimore locker room? He was not, because Shannon Sharpe came with big credentials and cachet. And obviously you're joining a team that already has Ray Lewis and Ed Reed.
Ed was there. Rod was there.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So, but again, you became a leader of that team because you had cachet. Jarvis Landry, just for the record, has played in one playoff game. It was that cold weather game when they went up to Pittsburgh with Matt Moore at quarterback. But he did catch, I think, 11 balls for 102, so he had a pretty good game. And last year, he did lead the league in catches. Now, he was 17th in receiving yards because he doesn't get a whole lot, because he's not a burner.
No.
Remember, he ran 4.77 at the combine. 4.77, which is why he didn't go in the first round, right?
He's a slot receiver.
He's a slot receiver.
He's good. Skip. He's going to move the chains.
And he's got Odell-esque hands.
Yes.
He can one-hand it and do circus catches.
Yes.
So he does have the cachet that he led the league last year, that he had almost as many catches as the Browns receivers last year had as a group. He had more touchdown catches, 2 more than they had as a whole receiving corps in Cleveland. And he just signed 5 years, $75 million. So he's got some respect in that locker room.
Right.
So I love the way he attacked the group, but I just didn't see it coming from him. And it was the highlight of what I thought was a very intriguing opening show. And it leads me to my conclusion, this is going to be the most improved team in the league. They need Josh Gordon back. There were some hints early that he's going to be back maybe before the opener, sooner than later. So if they have him back and Baker Mayfield looks like he's about to take over the whole football team and be the starting quarterback, I still like them to be the shock of the year in the NFL.
Skip, I agree with everything you just said. I loved it. It shows that he's passionate, and this is what leaders do. He's trying to instill in them, in order for the new Browns not to be like the old Browns, we can't have old Brown habits, which is not practicing, not going hard. It is, Skip, you mentioned it. That first week of camp, because you have not been doing football stuff, you have not been in shoulder pads and helmets, you get sore. So by that third day, you're really sore. That old man, we call it that old man because you're getting out of bed and you walking, you like an old man, you stiff. And normally our third day of practice is 9 on 7. That's what, we need you to strike up the band. You got to bring it that day because everybody's yelling at the defense. Nothing today. Skip, it's 9 on 7. No receivers. What you think we're doing? We're running the ball.
Contact.
Yeah. So you got to bring it. It's tough. And Jarvis like, bro, how we gonna get better if you on the sideline?
Mm-hmm.
How do we get better if you over here? Forget you getting better, us. We got to change the dynamic. But here's the thing, Skip. Now, he gave that fire and brimstone. Now, when they have a good day, you need to call them, that's the way you practice. That's the way you work. That's how we get better there. Now, see, I can live with that. That's what he got to tell them. You got to give them, sometimes you got to give them 2-1. You give them one hard one, you give them 2 to 3 to 1 good one. Let them know that, hey, I'm with you. I'm gonna get on you now. Got to. It's nice to see that he got a pocket full of money and he still want to be great. That he's still pushing forward. That's rarity. Because, a lot of time, guys, we've seen guys, Skip, get the money. I'm good now, bro. Right.
That is true. A lot of guys go to Cleveland to semi-retire, and he clearly wants to change their habits.
Yes.
He wants to try to start winning games. Not that they won huge in Miami, but again, he's got a new responsibility. He's going to take over as a leader, and I think he'll back it up on the field.
Yes. He's going to be Baker Mayfield's favorite target.
I think he might be.
Especially if they don't get Josh back, Skip. They really need Josh in order for this offense to be what we think it can be. But if they don't have Josh, he's going to be Baker Mayfield's best friend.
So the setup to this profanity-laced tirade that we saw in Hard Knocks was some shots on the practice field of drops. And 2 of those drops came from one Corey Coleman. And we heard Todd Haley, the new offensive coordinator, say, come on, Corey, that's a big play. Get in there and have some desire. And then we heard Hugh Jackson, the head coach, sort of muttering to himself on the side, way too soft, way too, soft. Guess what? A couple days later, John Dorsey ships out Corey Coleman, and it was like a Jimmy Johnson memorial move like Jimmy did with the Cowboys back in the early 90s. If you do that on the practice field, you're gone.
Yeah, but you gave him up. That was a first-round draft pick. You gave up for a seventh
rounder in like 20-something, 22 or something.
Almost like 20 never. Basically
what?
Said,
20 never.
We want you up out of here.
Yeah, it's more of a message move to the receiving corps, to the locker room, right? To say, we don't put up with that anymore.
Training camp is about competing, Skip.
Yeah.
The coaches want to see you compete.
Yeah.
They want to see you compete in that environment because this is what we know. Everybody is fighting for a job. I mean, Baker know he has a job. Certain guys know.
Yeah.
But you're fighting, Skip. You're trying to make the team. You're scratching and clawing, trying to make it. So the coaches, even if you don't make the play, they want to see you compete every play. And when you don't compete, Skip, I can't teach you that. I can teach you how to run the right route. I can teach you the right technique. I can't put that dog in you. Either you have it or you don't. And it'll show up out there early on who wants to compete because everybody's sore. Who's going to push through it? Who's going to make that extra effort? So when I saw it, I was like, okay. I knew earlier. I mean, once they shipped a first-round pick for a 7th rounder, I was like, bro, he was dogging it. He had to be dogging it in practice.
Wow. This would not have happened last year or the year before. No. But this is a brave new world. This is new sheriff in town and John Dorsey, the GM. Yeah. And this is a whole new approach. Greg Williams is the defensive coordinator, and I know he was involved in the Bounty Gate scandal in New Orleans, but everywhere he's been, he brings the dog out of you. Yes. He will rip it out of you, right? Because he was taken over last night.
Yeah.
He is talking about profanity laced.
But that's Greg.
That's Greg. And you know what? This is the kind of guy, I'm watching it saying, man, I want to play for that guy.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to change the culture, Skip, sometimes you have to do things. Now, you wouldn't normally necessarily cut a first-round draft pick going into his 2nd year. But you got to send a message that what was accepted last year and in years past will not be accepted now. I told you, Skip, my grandfather told me and my brother, he said, boys, y'all ain't got to do nothing. You just can't do it here. Well, Corey Coleman, you ain't got to work hard. You ain't got to hustle. You just can't do it here.
I think your grandfather added another word or 2 in there.
Yeah.
Not for TV.
It was a lot more Jarvis Landry.
He should have been on Hard Knocks, your grandfather.
Well, yeah.
He would have taken it over.
It was a lot more Jarvis Landry.
I know.
I love that from Landry. My other favorite part was the quarterback RV. Did you guys enjoy that part? I mean, it was light, but I don't know. I just love picturing hanging out in the RV.
The part about training camp, Skip, was the building. When you tap on the table or whatever you do, you knock on it, and you have the rookies get up there and, normally at lunch or dinner, they get up and sing. No fight songs. I don't want to hear nothing about that. You better sing something top 40, top something.
Baker Mayfield sang.
Did okay. West Virginia.
Take Me Home, West Virginia.
And the thing is, Skip, it's not so much, we know you're not Whitney Houston. We know you're not Luther Vandross, but we want to see you. We want to see you get up there and stick your chest out. Don't come up there and give us no half-hearted
did.
effort.
He did okay.
Yeah.
He did okay.
Okay, so he should be done. But with those guys that come up there and give us this half-hearted effort, don't worry about it.
Boo him off the stage.
No,
not
you're
do well
going
with
to do it
that.
every day until you get it right.
Until you get, oh, that's my worst nightmare. Please don't ever ask me to sing.
No mercy.
We're going to switch gears and talk about Christmas, because why not in August? All right, my favorite holiday is 139 days away, but we already know LeBron will be spending the holiday in the Bay Area. The New York Times reported the Lakers will be on the road to face the Warriors on Christmas Day. And as we all know, LeBron has faced Golden State in the finals the last 4 years, losing 3 of them. Shannon, what do you expect from the King on Christmas?
Warriors going to open up a 50-piece or a triple-dub. You know he's going to do something special on Christmas, Skip. You know that. You think that man came out here to L.A. not to be special, not to do something special on Christmas? Now, I know it's boring to him because it's 4 straight years that he's played the Warriors on Christmas Day. And then if you go back to Miami, the dude is might as well call him Santa Claus of the NBA. 'Cause every Christmas, he show up.
Really?
Yeah.
And every finals, he gives me a big L. Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
No, we talking about Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We ain't talking about no finals. We talking about Christmas.
That's Christmas night to me. Is
No, can we
really?
talk about Christmas?
Game 4.
Okay, so this is how we gonna do, JD. You know a 50-piece coming or a triple-dub.
Are you going unk on me here?
Yeah.
Okay.
He gonna do something special. You'll come in and talk about he can stuff that stat sheet. Nobody can stuff that stat sheet like LeBron James. You get upset. Why do you get upset when he's LeBron? Being LeBron is normally it gets you 27, 8, and 8. That's what it gets you, Skip. He ain't stuffing the stat sheet. He just that. That's like, you people see like, oh, Nicole, she just wake up, Skip. She just wake up and she just look like that. She ain't trying to be. She just look like that. LeBron ain't trying to stuff the stat sheet. He just do it. It's just easy.
Especially if he plays 47 minutes.
There you can see.
Am I right?
It's my turn to talk.
Did he lead the league in minutes played last year? I think he did.
He did.
What caused that? And then how could he then run out of gas in the games that really counted in the playoffs? He's tired tonight.
Whoa.
Well, why'd he play all those minutes
Hold
in
on,
the regular
time out.
season?
You-
I don't know.
And still-
Could it be that he needed to stuff the stat sheet?
And beat everybody about 600 total minutes. A record.
Wow.
NBA record.
First time in his career he played all 82
No,
games.
I ain't talking about that. I'm talking
I
about
know.
total minutes.
I got it.
600. That's a lot of minutes, right, Skip?
Yep.
Okay, then.
And that served him how in the playoffs?
Hold
It
on.
did what for him? It gave him what advantage in the postseason?
Did he drop?
None.
Did he have 8 40-point games, which is the tie to the NBA record? Did he do that?
Did he get swept in the finals? Yes, he did.
No. See, you see what he did, Jenny? He got swept. There wasn't nobody else on the Cavaliers. You see how they do that? Now, LeBron
I didn't do it. You did
You
it.
did it.
You tell me he's the greatest player in the history of sports.
Player versus team. What player?
Only
can be-
5 can play at one time in your game, right? And this, when we're talking about basketball.
So let me guess. So I got okay. I'm gonna give you the number 1 player, but I'm gonna take 2, 5, 19, 23. You think you're beating me? No, you're not. Okay, then. So
I'm going to beat you. What numbers were you throwing out?
You got the best player, but I got the second best player, the 5th best player, probably the 18th or 19th best player, and the 20th best player.
You're talking about Golden State.
Yeah.
I don't know. If the best player is Michael Jordan, you got no shot. No shot.
Skip. First of all,
You're going to get psychologically annihilated.
Michael Jordan never beat 2 guys that were in the top 10 on the same team at the same time. That's what LeBron has gone up against the past 2 years. That's fact.
Malone and Stockton were pretty great.
John Stockton was not a top 5 player. Skip, see, this is where you and I fall out. Me and you be getting along really well. We go back and forth.
We were?
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
I start the conversation. I turn it over to you. You're courteous. I'm receptive to courtesy.
You just don't like it when you get just drilled.
And then
You know,
gonna
like
keep-
you just get leveled.
At no point in time, Skip, was John Stockton ever a top 5 player in the NBA. You know that, I know that. He's the all-time assist leader, but he was never a top 5.
All-time assist leader. Wow, that's pretty good. Is he a top 50 player in the history of the game? Yeah.
They got Golden State got 4. They got 3 of them right now.
Okay.
When it's all said and done, they're gonna have 3 of them right now. They got 2. They got 2 guys that's might be top 15 as we currently speak. Forget 50.
So, I appreciate you making my point on that, because my point about next December 25th, Jenny's favorite holiday, it's a lot of people's favorite holiday.
And some LeBron.
And it's going to be my favorite day of the year because LeBron and company, whoever company is, are going to get annihilated in Oakland, California. They're going to get wiped off the face of the NBA earth. That day, will it be day or night? I don't know what it'll be, like late afternoon, whatever it'll be, Pacific time.
Ain't happening.
So he can score 50, he can go trip dub, he can do whatever he wants to do, and his team is going to get demolished because we don't know whether it'll be the first time they meet. Probably it won't be. It probably will be the first time that these new look Lakers have to play at Golden State. I'm going to guess it's going to be the first time they're going to play at Golden State, but I don't know that until the schedule comes out, maybe later today. But that'll be the probably about the 34th game, because that's what it was last year for both teams, of the season. 34th game. And even you agree.
25-9. We'll probably be 25-9 at that point.
25-9. There might be some Diet Mountain Dew.
Now, don't worry, Skip.
I'm writing that down. I'm writing that down. I was looking at more like 18-16 because you already said you thought they'd get off to a rocky start. There are going to be huge chemistry and coaching issues with that team because it's going to be the most difficult to coach team that I have ever seen in all my years covering the National Basketball Association. So how long will it take Luke Walton to figure it out? Can he figure it out by Christmas, which is barely, it's like almost 2 months into the season. It's not enough time.
He'll be just fine.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. And yet, will DeMarcus Cousins be ready to play by then?
No,
he might.
no,
He well
no.
might. He seems like he's ahead of schedule
I don't
already.
believe he plays before the new year.
I
He
don't
doesn't
know.
believe.
Okay, well, the New Year's is only going to be a week away, right?
Christmas. That's
Okay.
not Christmas Day.
Okay, well, it's close enough, and he just might be out of schedule and might be playing a few minutes, but does it really matter whether he plays? Because Kevon Looney started those finals games at their 5 at the center position.
JaVale McGee started last 2.
Okay, but Kevon Looney started, 2 finals games? I think he did. Started a bunch of playoff games. Jordan Bell is just a jumping jack, man. And can he rim protect and block shots? Yes.
When you got those 4 other, when you have those 4 other guys, KD, Steph, Clay, and Draymond, you could have started Looney Tunes. It doesn't matter, Kevin Looney. It doesn't matter. Another guy at the stands would have won.
Okay, well, this is going to look like a cartoon blowout for your team because it's going to be devastating.
We're going to have Dew on it. So
Dew on it? Okay, so I'm going to make you this bet right now. We don't know what the spread is yet because we're way too far ahead. But whatever the points are, if it's Golden State by 8 or 9 or 10, whatever it is, I will give you that point spread and I will take Golden State and I will beat your rear end.
We'll see. Let's see. Make sure everybody's playing.
Let's not see. Let's just do it right now. Let's go ahead and bet right now. I will give you whatever the official line is. What do we use? Westgate or whatever? Whatever Westgate says on that moment before tip-off, you got it.
LeBron might not be playing. He might take a rest day. So we don't know.
You really think he's going to take a rest day?
He might. You never know, Skip. Huh? We're going to get there.
Right, well, I'm willing to bet. I'm just willing to do it right here, right now.
Are we doing this?
You got Fitty, you got Trip Dub, you got everything
in
going.
August.
You got Santa Claus on your side.
Yeah!
Who can beat Santa Claus on Christmas?
You know he coming.
And you got Rondo, and you got Lance, and you got JaVale's revenge on Golden State. You got Michael Beasley. You got Kuz. You got Magic Johnson overseeing.
Hopefully Santa Claus has some helpers and not elves. Because if he got some helpers, I know what's going to happen.
Elves as in L's?
No,
lots of elves.
Elves.
Yeah,
Little ones. I need helpers.
Yeah.
What we didn't get in the last couple of finals, especially last year, Kyrie gave us some love before he dipped on us.
Everybody's been talking big and bad in Lakerland about we're coming for Golden State.
We're coming for whoever got the crown. That's what we're going to.
Okay, all right. Now you're trying to diminish the impact of it. You're trying to undercut it because you know you're in for a beating that day.
So what are we supposed to do?
Golden State's going to make a national TV statement. Let's see how close they are to us. How about we beat them by 30 or 35 or maybe if LeBron scores 50, we should beat him by 50.
So are you telling me we should be like, we coming from Memphis? Oh, Sacramento. Coming for top.
Well,
you get nervous.
Big talk coming out of Lakerland.
Magic. Even if they win, Skip.
Everybody's dared to invoke the name of Golden State. We are coming for Golden State. That's how we're being built.
So let me ask you a question.
Really?
Who do you think?
Playmakers, defenders.
Who do you think the NFL, the teams, who they're gearing up to beat this year? Eagles.
I don't know. Probably Tom Brady's team. That's who everybody wants.
He ain't got no crown.
Yeah.
He ain't got the crown.
Yeah, but they all know he's the best.
Nah, he got no crown.
Yep.
Nick Foles snatched it off his head.
Yep.
And he ain't do nothing about it. Snatched it. Give me that.
Snapped it off Belichick's head.
No, he did. No. Coach Belichick.
You know it,
Hold
I
on.
know it.
You told me Coach Belichick had very little to do with the offense. So Coach Belichick had nothing to do with that turnover.
Well, that was the only one in the game. Was it an ugly
What you
interception?
want me to do?
Nope.
What you-
It was the only one in the
What
game.
you want me to do about that?
Only one in the game. Interesting.
That's Skip.
Huh.
That's what happened.
41 points. The great Bill Belichick, you give him 85% of the credit. 80%.
I said 75.
75. Well, you backed off.
I
You, said you misspoke, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so 75% of the credit goes to the guy who, in a Super Bowl game, gave up 41 to Nick Foles?
Yeah.
Seriously? How can you justify that? You can't.
What happened?
You just can't. You're defeated again.
No,
Yep.
no. Hey.
So we're on with this bet, right?
No.
I give you whatever the Westgate point spread is, you've got it. You're not taking it?
Injuries. We got Skip.
You back it off? You don't have the courage of your conviction?
Do you know how far that is?
It's not
We
that
haven't got-
far off.
we haven't even got to-
139 days? I
Can we get to Labor Day? Let us get to Labor Day.
It'll be here
Can we get
before
to
you
Labor
know
Day?
it.
Can we get to Labor Day?
I have
Maybe Halloween.
Silly me, I have the courage of my convictions over here. I know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm already predicting. I see the future. I see Golden State making a big, bad statement.
Way to go out on a limb with Golden State.
Yeah. What? You went out on a limb. You said he's going to score 50. He scored 50 plus one time last year. So this is it. He's going to save it for Christmas
Nah,
Day.
he scored 50 more. No, he scored 57 against Washington, remember?
I know, that's the only time he won.
He got
over
51 in the playoffs.
Oh, well, I'm doing regular season.
Oh.
Is this a playoff game? It might feel like a playoff game to Golden State.
But how many 40s did he drop?
He had a couple.
hate to bring it up, Shannon, but he only scored 20 last year on the Christmas Day Bronx.
Really? Only
yeah,
20?
only 20. Yeah.
What was that
7
about?
of 18 shooting.
And you know,
Sorry.
I'm
Sorry
here
to
to
bring
say
it up.
the team that he took onto the floor against Golden State in last year's finals will be a little better than the team he will take onto the floor on December 25th.
Zero chance.
Yep.
Zero
Seriously.
chance.
The
Yep.
best part about this, we have a while before Christmas,
Yeah.
and I have a feeling we'll talk more about it leading up. So we're going to leave it for now.
No mercy.
Well, the Spurs made a major change this offseason when they traded Kawhi Leonard to Toronto for DeMar DeRozan. Since the move, DeRozan has been outspoken about how he was mistreated by the Raptors. His new teammate, Rudy Gay, says DeRozan is now in a better place in San Antonio. Let's take a listen.
The best part about San Antonio is they do right by you. They do right by their players. They do right by their staff. They do right by you. That doesn't happen much in the NBA. To be honest with you, it doesn't happen much. In Pop, he's going to give it to you straight. You can take it or leave it. And you got to respect that. You got to respect the person that will just lay down the line, doesn't sugarcoat anything, just tells you exactly how they feel. This is coming from a situation where, on one side of the situation, there was a guy that was trying to get out, trying to get to somewhere else in a big market. They're totally being upfront with him, and then trading for a guy that their organization wasn't being upfront with him at all. So it's just night and day. That trade right there kind of shows you the difference between the San Antonio Spurs and other organizations.
Well, our friend and former Spurs, Steven Jackson, is here. When you hear those comments from Rudy Gay, what do you make of them?
Take it away, Stacks.
Well, we all know San Antonio is a great organization. We all know that Pop's the greatest. We all know all this stuff that Rudy's saying. But his timing is saying this because, first of all, Rudy, get the brown stuff off your nose, first of all. That's what you're doing. First of all, okay, Kawhi's situation was handled wrong. Everybody knows that. Rudy knows that San Antonio is good at covering up stuff. They've been good at it. Well, Rudy, you saying this stuff now because you're still there and you want to be in Kawhi's role now. You want to get Kawhi. Everything Kawhi left, you want to fill that role. And you trying to say that DeMar DeRozan, I'm trying to welcome you. Really, you're not. You're trying to make it better for yourself in San Antonio. It's a bad time for saying that because they're fresh off of handling everything Kawhi has been through wrong. We're not used to that. So, Rudy Gay, I think you just brown-nosing and trying to make it better for yourself because you're still in this situation and trying to cover up what happened with Kawhi. But Kawhi's situation was handled wrong. It's never been handled like that in San Antonio. So just say that, Rudy. But what you're doing right now is obvious. You're trying to make the situation better for yourself. You saying stuff that people already know.
Shannon was right. I got to give you props for this. In our pre-show meeting, he predicted that answer, and I wasn't sure. I thought you'd be maybe torn about this.
We
Not
all know
torn
Pop's
at all.
great.
Go ahead, pile on.
Get it off your nose, Rudy. Get it off your nose.
For me, Skip, team, maybe Rudy feels that way. Kawhi does not. George Hill doesn't feel that way.
Steven Jackson don't.
Steven Jackson, got it on my nose. Stacks don't feel that way. Maybe David Robinson and Tim Duncan and Manu were content to play their entire careers in San Antonio. Maybe the Riverwalk is just fine for them. Maybe Lulu's with those 3-pound cinnamon rolls, maybe they love that. But Kawhi says, you know what?
Nobody goes to Lulu's.
Willie's Ice House. Okay. That's
There
the
we
spot.
go.
Willie's
I go to cinnamon rolls. Skip, you don't like the big old cinnamon roll, 3 pounds?
Eat cinnamon rolls.
There's
I
no
eat
way
'em.
this guy's eating a cinnamon roll. No way.
You can't make me feel bad, Skip Bayless, about my eating habits. But back to
I
my
just did.
back to my original. Skip, look, let's be all the way Stacks. And you played in the NBA 14 years. Teams will always do what's in the best interest of the team. They say we're doing this business decision. We're trying to win games. Why can't a player do what's in the best interest for the player? They trade players all the time. They trade them. No, Isaiah Thomas, Kyrie got traded.
Shaq.
The days of guys like in the olden times where they spend their entire career with one organization, those days are over. Guys say, you know what, I want to go where I want to go. Thanks to LeBron James, he made it cool, we dip it. And Kawhi said, you know what, Pop? You had this thing, you talked to Timmy, and Timmy understood you, David Robinson, Tony, and Manu. I'm going to hit you with these 22s. I'm out.
So now I am forced to remind everyone that Steven Jackson's tenure in San Antonio did not end all that well.
No, it didn't.
Because you dared to dare I say, take on Manu Ginobili over minutes, right? Didn't it come down to his minutes versus your minutes?
Stacks said, I'm better than you.
And Pop finally said, sorry, Steven.
Yes, that's what he said.
You're gone. You were
And
out.
the first time after we won the championship, I wanted more money.
Okay.
And they wanted to lowball me
No.
and pay everybody else. Not going on.
Okay. So I've never been the biggest Rudy Gay fan, and I was a little disappointed the Spurs even gave him a shot last year because he always seemed to come from losing teams with a loser's mentality, but he was pretty good last year. He nailed this. He laid it right on the table. And I love both the barrels that he fired here because he fired one for San Antonio because in general, they do take care of their players. In general, it's a nice place to play. It's a comfortable atmosphere where they do go out of their ways to make you feel wanted and accepted while you're there until you draw a line in it.
They got to go above and beyond, Skip.
Okay.
It's San Antonio. It's not L.A. or New York.
That's fair.
Right.
But he also laid it on the line that the irony was he says that Kawhi just wanted out. He wanted to go to a bigger market. And he wound up, ironically, he didn't use the word ironically, but his next statement was ironic because he wound up playing now for a management in Toronto that did DeMar DeRozan wrong. So he's saying, well, congratulations, Kawhi. You just went from the classiest organization in sports to the one up in Toronto where they just, boy, they turned DeMar DeRozan upside down before they sent him to San Antonio, right?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
But guess what? Kawhi said, I'm a rental. I'm only here temporarily. I'm rental furniture. You ain't going to buy the good stuff.
Well, maybe it's not Kawhi Leonard. Maybe it's Karma Leonard. Maybe he just got karma'd in Toronto,
But I
right?
said that, Skip. I said Pop was going to send him as far away
Okay.
from the Western Conference, as far away from San Antonio as he could.
He sent him out of the country.
I told you. I
Sent him
said
to
that. I
Toronto.
know he was.
Right?
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Make your destination on the very road Pop made you take to avoid
Okay,
it.
all
He
right.
going to L.A., Skip, then what?
He might, or he might not. Maybe LA doesn't want him. Maybe LA will say, boy, we don't trust
want
that
him.
guy.
We trust him.
Well, one thing, too, I can't wait till Rudy go out there and shoot a shot that Pop don't like and Pop yank him out the game quick and sit him down for the rest of the game. I can't wait to see if he still feel the same way.
Yeah.
You know, because it's going to happen. You know, Pop is the greatest, the organization. I love the owner's son. He used to wear my jersey. I love everything about it. But certain situations they do not handle right. They've been able to cover it up all these years. It finally came out and let you know that they're just good at covering up stuff.
Rudy.
Steven Jackson, Kawhi Leonard quit on the Spurs last year.
I can't say that.
Okay, but he did.
He didn't.
He had a thigh bruise. He took a knee to the thigh, and he played 9 total games out of 82 with a bruised thigh? Really? I'm sorry. I don't get it.
So let me ask you a question. If he quit on your team, you didn't want him anymore, why Pop? Why everybody dancing through Cheerios trying to get him to come back to San Antonio?
I don't know. Did they?
They need him.
Yeah.
That's the same reason they was dissing him in the media and stabbing him in the back, because we really need you. We don't know how to tell you we need you, but hey, we're going to go behind the back and talk about you to the media now.
Pop didn't dance for him. He just came all the way to San Diego to find him and just
Pop
say,
ain't
tell me
dancing
what's
for
going
nobody.
on.
Pop ain't dancing
No.
for nobody.
He just said, tell me something.
He ain't dancing
Because
for
he
nobody.
doesn't talk to anybody.
Oh, that's like, okay, I don't want you, but I'm going to show up at your door, knocking on your door with flowers. What that telling
He
you?
didn't have any flowers.
He showed up at his door.
He
Does
does
Pop live in-
not bring
Stat.
flowers.
Does Pop live in San Diego, or does he live in San Antonio?
San Antonio.
Kawhi was out here. So why was Greg Popovich out
Because
here?
before you trade a top 5 player, you make sure what's in his heart, not his uncle's heart. Because his uncle was doing all the speaking for him. So Pop finally said, okay, we've invested so much time in this kid. We have helped him a lot, and he's helped us a lot. And he's a top 5 player. I've made the case he's the best two-way player in basketball. I got to go sit with him and hear from the horse's mouth what just went wrong. What did you see that I didn't see last year? And obviously, Pop didn't hear what he wanted to hear or needed to hear, because he said, that's it, bridge is burned.
Yeah, I guarantee you, when Pop sat down with him, looked in his eyes, and didn't see the confidence
He
that he wanted to be there,
Yeah.
that's the whole thing with Pop. Pop wanted to see it in his face. He really wasn't even worried about what he had to say. He wanted to see his emotions and see if everything that's been said, if that's how you really feel. Pop probably showed up with some flip-flops,
He
a
probably
Spurs
did.
shade, real nothing, no gifts, no nothing. I need to know what's going on.
Let me tell you how this works. You know, my grandma used to have a saying, Skip Bayless, say things people say behind your backs will hurt your feelings.
Oh, yeah.
What they say to your face will break your heart.
Mm-hmm.
You see,
She said that?
leave well enough alone, Skip
You had
Bayless.
the greatest grandparents in the
Leave
history of
alone, Skip
grandparents.
Bayless.
They deep.
Did Pop really want to hear that? That's a
He didn't wanna hear it.
Exactly, broke his heart. You should have just let it hurt your
He
feelings.
didn't break his heart, it burned his bridge. That's what he did.
Kawhi did that. Kawhi didn't burn it. He napalmed it. He scorched
did.
the earth. He want to make sure you can't
Okay.
come back over and I can't cross back over.
Okay, well, good luck to your
We
Lakers.
good.
Good luck.
Don't worry about it. Skip. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, he'll play maybe
don't worry about
30
You got
or 40
Rudy Gay.
games.
You got Rudy.
I got
for
Rudy
joining
Gay.
us and for
You got Rudy.
Rudy.
Okay.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.